How's it going, everyone? Jonathan here with Boston Collectors, and I wanted to share a quick update to my lighting, courtesy of Luke Lights. Last year we made an in-depth tutorial of how to fully assemble, light, and dust-proof your display. Today we're showing you how to upgrade from what was shown previously. While the cores from the previous set of lights were out of the way, you have to admit they aren't exactly photogenic. It wasn't my aim anyway, since the collection is meant for me to enjoy. Regardless, it'd be a plus to have it hidden. Well, that along with a better set of brackets and zip ties to match the railing of the DTOF. My main issue stems from the lighting I purchased at different points throughout the year. For example, while these are the same exact make and brand, one is slightly cooler than the other. So we reached out to the sponsor of today's video, Luke Lights, who provided me with a set of 6 white tone light kits measured comfortably to fit in a DTOF unit. They also provided a set of color matching zip ties, which are better than the ones I picked up previously. A set of brackets and diffusers, which we'll show more of in a moment. And lastly, a thank you note and instructions for how to install your lighting and bracket kits. Speaking of the bracket, it's the same style and look to the ones I recommended before, but Luke Lights' precision cuts for their brackets are far cleaner than my own. If you plan to purchase these, you don't have to worry about weeding out the bad ones and figuring out placements for them. I'd recommend these if you don't have the tools necessary to cut your own. As for the lights, they're all individually wrapped and packaged upon arrival. I recently lit a Lego set with my wife from a company called Light My Bricks, so I was extra cautious going in. Unfortunately, this particular set had a solder point come undone, but Luke Lights replaced it free of charge and shipped them right away, which was good to hear. As mentioned previously, these are done by hand, and some lights may have multiple points soldered together. This is important to maintain a consistent length of lights per shelf. As always, make sure to test your lights before you begin and during installation. Now we can begin. I don't plan to reuse the older lights after I've replaced them, and you'll see why later. I used a pair of pliers to twist and undo each zip tie in all of my cabinets. Slip joint pliers would be recommended though. At this point, we can undo the lighting from the brackets. I'll show you all how to handle this later on. It isn't difficult at all. Unfortunately, I won't be replacing my brackets since I overdid it with the double-sided tape on a lot of them. While I requested for one set of brackets to show you all how their approach is easier, Luke Lights sent over a full set of 6 free of charge anyway, so shout out to them. The formula for setting up the lights are the same as before in a zigzag formation. This will require you to feed the cord and lights off to the side of the shelving. After installing 4 of these prior to filming, I realized there's a method for the additional length. In order to reduce strain on the solder points, having the cords anchored beneath the glass will allow it to maintain a straighter path. What you see here is me mapping out the distance needed per shelf before sticking the lights to the brackets. After doing so, I loosely tie the cables to the shelf and begin working my way down. For a better overview, here's how I map out the display before attaching the Luke Lights to the mounts. After sticking the lights to the brackets, we can tie the cables down. There's enough wiggle room between each light to reduce strain as seen here, so you don't have to worry. As for guiding the lights out of the display, simply unscrew the bottom of the DTOF, guide the glass door out, and feed the cable through. I like to zip tie this part as well for a cleaner look. Just make sure the cabinet closed before committing to your changes. Before we continue, I want to draw your attention to the cable indicated here. This was an earlier set I put together before understanding how to install the lights properly. While the starter point is held straight across due to the zip tie, the extra bit of cable was meant to go beneath the glass as mentioned earlier. Keep this in mind before installation. When everything is set to your liking, you can snip the loose ends off of the ties and adjust them as you see fit. I'd be done at this point, but last year Amazon shipped the wrong sizing for the dustproofing I purchased. Stripping this was probably the most time-consuming part of the task because of cleaning up the residue left behind. Using a plastic putty knife to reduce scarring the glass, I was able to lift the majority of the residue and peel off a lot of the gunk left behind. However, it still required a bit of cleaning afterwards. It will certainly look terrible before it looks better. Using a sheet of paper towel and rubbing alcohol, I was able to clean it up after a while. Well, a while being 3 episodes of Star Wars Rebels. There were a total of 4 spots like this, at least for me. I'm a bit of a stickler and I don't like going back to fix anything, so this will be spotless before adding the new dustproofing. It'll also do an even better job at hiding the clear cords, which are a massive improvement for the top shelf already. After a little over an hour, the cleanup is finally done. I did do a quick once-over for the lighting and glass though before applying the dustproofing, and it looks good to go for me. This is probably the second tedious part of the job if you're going this route for dustproofing. For me, it's necessary and I just throw on some music and get to it. You'll need to constantly check that the strip is against the glass when you close it or it isn't doing its job. If it isn't, you'll have to go back and adjust it. The top portion of the dustproofing was far easier to remove due to the surface. It just required a quick clean and I was good to go. Looklights recommended the Anker 60-watt 6-port charging station, which is the Series 3 for me if that matters. It ended up being perfect for powering all 6 display units. The reason for the USB plug is due to the USB drawing on less power at 5 volts, which means these lights emit less heat that could possibly discolor our collectibles. Speaking of heat, the side of the brackets are intentionally left open for better heat dissipation. The Looklight scared me at first and came off as a blue amongst the warmer lights that I originally had. It wasn't until turning off the others that I realized how premium they made the glass appear. Speaking of, if you hear this noise when walking by, you'll need to find and shift the glass shelf. Getting back on topic, the light fall off is pretty significant and showcases just how well the light can add to the next display. The original lighting, which claimed to be cool, can be seen here. It's a warmer tone that I find work best for skin tone characters in the display, personally. Whereas with Looklights, the claim for cool lighting is legitimate and brighter. Maybe later on down the road, they'll make a version where swapping between both temperatures could happen. For a better comparison side by side, the Looklights on the right cast a cooler white compared to the coolest set of lights I had previously, off to the left. Here's where owning warmer lights for another cabinet could work well. Note the left of Rex's helmet. And finally, the display is uniform, neat, and even better than I had it before. Enjoy the sizzle reel after my outro and stay tuned for the grand reveal in my room tour. We'd like to thank Looklights for sponsoring today's video and sending out everything free of charge. For more information about their products, check out the description down below. With everything updated and ready to go, all I have to do is clean up the space and enjoy my collection. This is Jonathan with Boston Collectors. Stay tuned and let us know what you think.